Da-dum-dum-da-dum. We are not done talking about Terminator. This is another piece of the franchise largely forgotten. You hear that intro. Let's just jump into it. It's the Terminator Genisys YouTube creator web series. That's right, they did an outreach to the young minds, and based on the box office, looks like it paid off. Let's get to it. Good morning, everybody. I am Peter A. DeLuca, AKAPAD, another known as PAD. AKAPAD, we have a lot of different ways of pronouncing my name, but I'm here talking to you one-on-one. I am your pop culture guiding hand, your pop culture angel. I need to, I guess I have to develop like a good tagline for me for my intros, because I never know how to introduce myself, and it's the worst. And I always want to promote my social media on here, and I'm the worst at that too. Why? Because I'm obsessive. I just rather talk about the movie from me to you. And I get it. You can hit me up on Twitter, aka Pad, if you want to discuss things. But you can just sit down and listen. So we're talking Terminator Genisys. We are continuing our rather large Terminator analysis. And, we've had some good contentions along the way. We've had some unpopular opinions along the way. Maybe my biggest unpopular opinion is that collectively, Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, Terminator Salvation, and Terminator Genisys are all good movies. This is very unpopular, okay? You say this to a high horse geek, and their hair and their eyeballs explode out of their head. Their hair catches on fire, and the eyeballs will explode out of their head. Why? Because we're dealing with a gut reaction culture when it comes to film review and film discussion and film analysis. This past Thanksgiving, my buddy Mark, I got 3 Marks in my life, but one of them came over, and we were kind of just discussing his taste versus mine. And it got right down to the point that he was comparing one movie, we'll just say like Thunder Road. Do not watch Thunder Road, by the way. And we were comparing that to my appreciation and my love for X-Men Dark Phoenix. Because I feel like Dark Phoenix got a very bad rap, well documented on this podcast. And I had to ask him flat out, and I'm like, how are the two movies even comparable? Because in his mind, and I see the gears working, in his mind, it's a movie, it deserves to be, rated. It's the same level, it's the same vernacular, so to speak. And I immediately pushed back and was like, no. I'm like, there's different intent for these movies. A intent for a small independent movie, that's this emotional roller coaster, okay, low budget. It's very different from Fox's tentpole $300 million eyeball fest, okay. The intent of these movies are very different, and because the intent's different, they inherently, did I say that right? Will have different things in them. Like, even on a narrative sense, it's very hard to compare Terminator Genisys to even Terminator, because they were lucky to get Terminator made, okay? And they put everything in that movie, and Genisys was set up to be one of 3. So not everything is in that movie. Is that wise? It's really not. You should put everything in the first movie, okay? No guarantee that there will ever be a sequel, okay? Put everything in that first movie. To be honest, I do not get the sense of Salvation. I don't get the sense of that with Rise of the Machines. There was all this discussion, quick side note, on like the Chronicles of Riddick, and everyone was saying Riddick was going to set up this other thing, and then it didn't. Okay, box office wise, all kinds of good reasons. And then, like, years later, we got Riddick. We got like a follow up to Chronicles of Riddick, and the story we wanted to see happen between the movies because Vin Diesel, again, had to get back to the Fast and Furious franchise. Riddick was more or less his character, his movie. It was like a handoff, like one for me, one for you. So they gave him less money. They let him make Riddick. And, you couldn't make the sequel to Chronicles of Riddick because, right? And it makes me think, like, would Chronicles of Riddick have been better if they put everything in that movie? Meaning, we cut down the prison sequence, we cut down this escape sequence, we even cut down the girl character, the girl from the first movie, Dark, Beyond Dark. What's the first Riddick? Brain fart there. I cannot remember the first Riddick movie. It's something dark, okay? But moving on. And like the movie we wanted to see was actually the same second part that we wanted to see from Conan the Barbarian. We wanted to see King Conan. Both the movies end the same exact way. They inherit a throne, they inherit a empire. They inherit badassery. Chronicles of Riddick's third act should have been Riddick as king of the necromongers. And they were anticipating everything being popular enough because they had a toy line, I think by Soda, and we just didn't quite get there. And we want to see more of that? Would the movie have been better because they threw everything at it, and the movie's hook at the end was actually the adventure continues as King, not starts as King. I say that a lot. So the point I'm getting at is the intent of these movies is very important. I believe they fell right back into it with Dark Fate. From what I know, and this is our AKAPAD's Audio Audacity episode 261 coming up next. We will be discussing the fate of Dark Fate, and then we'll be jumping head in where I'm so behind. I'm maybe like 10 days behind, but we're going to be giving you a barrage of Star Wars content leading into the Rise of Skywalker. And if you're an old school, if you're an OG, if you're a original Star Wars fan, this is the series for you. This is the sequence for you, because I'm going to start from episode 4, from New Hope, or as we call it, Star Wars. We're going to start from Star Wars because that's the name of the movie. New Hope came later, and it's going to be like a lockdown kind of like, what about these movies? And then we will be going into episodes 1 and 3, the prequels, and then we're going to go into the sequel trilogy with all the side movies and documentaries and those who have made commentary of Star Wars along the way. We will show appreciation to them because a lot of those people forwarded the essence, the idea, the love of Star Wars from year to year during some of those dark years in the late 90s. So Terminator, this YouTube series, should we even mention our YouTubers? Because I felt like the promotion for this movie was fantastic. I mean, they even had Terminator in WrestleMania. Triple H came out. This might have been the first WrestleMania I watched single. Yeah, and the following year became like a thing where, kind of have like almost like the Super Bowl, until the Super Bowls became cocaine infused Patriot trips for me. But like I would kind of have a girl over every WrestleMania, and watch WrestleMania, mess around, eat some bad food, have a good night, and that kind of it became a practice of mine for a while. When it comes to WWE pay-per-views, you'll be surprised how many women, especially with the Women's Revolution and how good of a job WWE did with bringing women into the brand, just flat out just like watching wrestling. And they don't even have to know all the little storylines. The spectacle and the magic of it all just inspires them, and I don't blame them, because wrestling is inspiring, and that's one of the reasons why I still to this day watch it as much as I do. And for anyone out there, oh my God, thank you so much for tracking and still paying attention to some of my wrestling pay-per-views. Because those episodes are still getting listens. This makes me really want to reconsider going back into the pay-per-view discussions. But going back to Terminator Genisys, it was WrestleMania 31. So these YouTube miniseries, the official name, Terminator Genisys, the YouTube Chronicles. It's got Lily Singe. She's at like 14, 15 million followers. Insanely funny and beautiful. And we have Toby Turner. Again, lots of viewers. Very funny man. Him and his group are great. And the plot of all of this, it's relatively the Terminator comes after them, and it's more comedy, and it's a little bit goofy on like it being self-aware, and they like there's Terminator tropes within Terminator tropes, and everyone here did a great job. So with this and with WrestleMania, you could be like, Pete, like, how are you talking about this being a box office success? Terminator Genisys made some bank. Now, if we just compared the totals of the Genisys and Dark Fate up to this point domestically, Genisys was at $87 million at this point in time. Now, with the same time given, Dark Fate is only at $61 million. That's relatively nearly a $30 million swing. Now, it can't all be contributed to this series, but what we're seeing though is like a little bit of what formed in me when I was watching the Terminator Salvation Machina series. Okay, we did that 2 episodes ago. Is that like Terminator should be low budget and high budget, and it should be goofy at times, and this should be intense science fiction. It can back away from the seriousness, and like everyone took over Star Wars and made like Troops and made all these fantastic short films, and there was like Star Wars short film festivals, and one time StarWars.com you could download clips, Lucas approved clips and sound effects for your short film. Like that's how big the core was for Star Wars. And then things go away. Disney takes over. Terminator should be this, okay? People love the idea of Terminator. People love the visuals of Terminator. People love the tropes of Terminator. And I think all of these movies masterfully have used the Terminator tropes and lines to keep it going, okay? And it's expected. And no one's mad. No one's pissed when we hear someone else say, "Come to me if you want to live." No one is pissed when they hear someone else say, "I'll be back." It's not. It's a part of the experience. That's what makes it so good. And I'm so surprised that even with the Rise of the Skywalker coming out, that they haven't done more of a fan initiative, that they haven't put the fans first and forwarded these ideas that you can make your own new trilogy short film, and we will showcase it for you. We now have a park in Florida, and we have a park in California. We have giant Star Wars resorts coming, and we're going to showcase our short film to those. People are going to be sitting in their hotel rooms, and they're going to watch our short films. That's the base. That's the love that created Star Wars. I think an equal love can happen with Terminator. People are saying that the franchise is dead after Dark Fate. I argue otherwise. I really do. Terminator is designed to inspire and spark the imagination. I'm sorry if you're not among the few that just can't sit back and enjoy Salvation or get how ballsy Rise of the Machines were and understand the nuances of Genisys. Genisys is such an awesome flick. I really do love the T-3000 design of John Connor in Genisys. That T-3000 design is their very best since Terminator 2, period. But anyway, yeah, so like part of my idea with this was, look, I already told you the plot. I told you, who's in the Chronicles. But why it's important? Because it's proof of concept. This type of marketing, this type of branding, this type of integration works. And I just wish more of these new film companies, these new properties, these new ideas would do something similar, would give it back to the fans and let people have fun with it and experiment. And everything's locked down today. Everyone's so paranoid. I don't know. I think this is a part of the Terminator experience through and through. And I really enjoyed it. This was my biggest surprise, next to maybe the Sarah Connor Chronicles, of just seeing other ideas with Terminator, because even going into this, I was wrong. I thought Terminator had to be big budget, it had to be serious, it had to be dark, it had to be all these other things, and it doesn't. And that's what makes this important. And look, bravo to everyone that took this on, because this is not, like you got Schwarzenegger, you got. I don't want to say you have shoes to fill, because Schwarzenegger's brand, box office marketability is gone. It's in the toilet. Okay, but even at the time though, it was Arnold's big return to the franchise that really helped put him on the map. That's intimidating. That's tough. And these people hit it out of the park. And look, our next episode, 261, before we get into Star Wars mode, is going to be the fate of Dark Fate, because everything I'm discussing with you now, I'm going to elaborate and go into some other points in the next episode, and kind of give you more of a box office breakdown of where some of the money went for Terminator Dark Fate, where it came from, and what it really means. I really do hate to say it. It's somewhat in the same realm as Dark Phoenix was, meaning even with DVD and streaming attention, it doesn't look good for the franchise. And I hate failures. I hate seeing failures. I hate seeing talented people get thrown under the bus for no reason. But there is drama around Dark Fate also, and we'll discuss that. And then eventually, sometime, once it becomes available in digital, we'll discuss the Dark Fate. Okay, everyone. Peter A. DeLuca signing off here, AKAPAD's Audio Audacity. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed my time. I love talking to you people. Thanks. I'll talk to you later.